say there, okay, say Ghana for be 800, and Omajatum say, Omina person Ghana. Now, okay, no say Ghana for be the plane BM Ako, a yes South Africa. Ako fa Ghana for be 300 more, diaba. Na Anshaswa, another plane Besako, Ako fa another group, diaba. In total, no, Nipa be 800, and Omajatum say, Omajapene, so far. From time Omokasano, Omaji Pene say, Omopese, Omoba Ghana, na Omobetna Ghana. If you said the Ecos or South Africa, no Omoninjo. Now, the same way I say there, Ghana for be in Pimiensa 3,000 and no more South Africa. Now, emu a year 800, Naji Pene Sisia, Omodio Monsasha Krata, to say, a year Ghana for play Nibidrua, Omoba foot no maba. At this point, no, it could be say in the weeks to come, and days to come, no, Sebio, Omo, Ghana for more South Africa, no, don't want to imagine say, in fact, also if you say, the econo, and yadia, and so echa. And then you bring Amenoka say, a year Nigeria for at the Krata Babontin say, Omonso, I imagine say, a year now what you see me next week, you know, Omoka Nigeria for almost South Africa. If you say, the South Africa for any year or Madishiano, Sebio almost who say, in Chaye, into Nigeria for so person free Ghana ho, the Ghana for ye, the John Mahama buying through the Foreign Affairs Ministry, the deputy and the minister himself, a year Jachi Question, and Okujato Blackwa, Jumadi Omedi, etumidi Ghana for Eba Ghana no, Nigeria for person Ghana for Nantie, almost I imagine say from next week, you know, Omeko a year South Africa, na Sebio Omadishia or more South Africa no, Omaka Omunaba. You has to this has to tell you something. Abanwe is setting a pace. It's setting some good record. It has become a role model to a lot of African countries. You see, Matisse Nipa Bebre Kasa say, yen closes South African companies down or Ghana. Yen shut down MTN. Yen shut down Air Goldfields. Yen shut down. You see, when issues like this come, I know tempests are all over the place. But Abambia and Nimunyansabia are very calculated, you know. They just don't take decisions in the middle of such chaos. I know this government will take some decisions. I know this government will take decisions that are decisions it will not have an aftermath the effect on Ghanaians. Even with Ghanaians almost South Africa, almost Krata. So at this point, I believe say, and I can say Ghana for Nyabutre. At least we know for now, say the government of the day, no, is ready to rescue Ghanaians in South Africa. Almost through a lot, but we need to also understand say even when you want to take a decision or you want to take an action against the South African people, the government has to be very tactical and smart about it. The government has to understand to say, sad decision now will be taken in there, no, and your decision later it will affect your citizens in South Africa. Because as we speak, there are some people in South Africa almost so much closer ties in South Africa, they will not be able to come to Ghana. And say, person will take action. You don't want to take an action that will escalate the situation. And remember, Ukrom before they will be Krum. There are few South Africans in Ghana. In fact, I don't think that there are more than 100 South Africans in Ghana. And we need to understand to say, when it comes to taking decisions like these, when it comes to decision, a bit to me, and so a situation escalating, we need to be very careful the way we take those decisions. So I wouldn't say, well, people calling for South African companies to be shut down and the government taking action, no, they are wrong. I don't think they are wrong. But I believe, the government has to be very calculated in its decision making. They need to use a diplomatic way of also reacting. But the reaction should not, at the end of the day, affect its citizens that live in South Africa. Because whether you like it or not, they are still Ghanaians in South Africa. So we need to be very tactical about it. We will have to still react. We need to also retaliate. But we need to retaliate diplomatically. We need to retaliate in a way where economically we will not lose. We need to retaliate in such a way, our people in South Africa will not be affected. So I agree. People are angry. People are pissed off. But this is a situation whereby the people you are fighting with, they don't travel. There are less South Africans in Ghana than Ghanaians in South Africa. So before you take a decision as a nation or as a government, you need to be very calculated about it. Obianim said, it's against human rights. And in fact, if the AU is a very important, and I say, an associate, if the union is it's not a useless union, and as when you can see, time as South Africans, start to say, more treaty other African Africans in their country. The AU has been quiet. For rights are being abused in South Africa every single day. We see it on TV, we see it on social media, but the AU, which is a very useless association, they have not been able to take an action. Because the AU is basically a very useless association that only thinks about money, how they'll be able to sell Africa minerals, how they'll be able to sell the African to the European, to the American, how they'll be slaves to Americans and Europeans. So the AU has become one useless entity. It cannot help Africa now. And the better we come to that conclusion, say, AU cannot help Africa, no? It will help us to understand, say, moving forward as Africans, no? We need to find other means of coming together as Africans to do what? To save ourselves. Because if we rely on these, our leaders, if we rely on these stupid people who don't think about their citizenry, because majority of the leaders at AU don't care about what is happening in South Africa. But I can tell you for a fact, most of the African countries, they have their citizens in the in South Africa, but they don't care because it's all about money. It's all about what they are going to get. It's all about how they will look good in front of the white man. It's all about selling our natural resource to the white. So they don't fucking care about what is happening in South Africa. Because AU are very effective. South Africa should be under sanction by now. If the AU as a union, if they are intelligent and effective, not a corrupt group of old men who are basically greedy, just abusing the power we have given them. South Africans should be under some sanctions by now. But South Africans feel the AU is useless. They don't care about the AU. That's why its citizenry, they keep doing what they are doing. I've told Ghanaians, I've lived in South Africa before. South Africa, for me to say, moi, I'm telling you. And me to say, Julius Malema, Eka Asemi. Let's go listen to Malema on this South Africa issue. Maybe I'll react to Julius Malema's statement.
AU, the Ghana response was not necessary because it now creates an impression that we are all like that, when it is a certain section of our society that needs to be contained by law enforcement. And one Ghanaian lady was saying, you see, the problem is, and I wouldn't have taken this option, the problem is we're being beaten in front of the police and the police are not doing anything. That's the problem. And when this opportunity came for me to leave, I left because if the police can't defend me, it means the state is in agreement with the people who are beating me. So we think it was too quick. We'll still resolve this. And President of Ghana should have given us, some time to really deal with this matter. And we'll get to the bottom of it. We hope they will come back to their senses. We don't have to respond the same way they did. We need to pursue the diplomatic engagements with Ghana until we find one another. We don't think Ghana responded in a manner that really reinforces dialogue and diplomatic engagements. It actually creates a very bad, extreme situation, which is not. It's a selected few, and we are pursuing and persuading government to still act on those few. And we're saying to them, they must give us some time, they must be patient, and those who don't feel safe, especially the legally documented Ghanaians, should be able to run to police stations for safety, and then they will be directed to rightful places where they'll be secured. But, it's an emotional issue for many of them, understandably so, but the reaction of government should have been, postponed a bit to give us an opportunity to deal with what is happening here in South Africa.
My last question.
This is a typical South African. This guy is a typical South African politician. Julius Malema. He's a typical South African politician. This guy used to shine the shoes of Jacob Zuma. And you see how he's downplaying the situation. You see the level of deception he's trying to put across. His interest is to clean his country. Julius Malema does not care who is killed on the streets of South Africa. What he cares about is that he wants the government of the day to look bad, create an impression around the world that everything in South Africa is okay and that people should not see them as monsters. That is what he's doing. He's playing. It's a show to him. So for him to even open his mouth to say the response from the Ghanaian government was unnecessary shows the level of hypocrisy and deceit in this shoe shine. How long has this been going on? How long have we seen people go after other citizens who live in South Africa? We have seen it on social media. The president of the republic, the South African president, spoke on this matter. But still, South Africans did not even see him as a human being. They saw the president as a fool. They never respected his words. We have seen so many videos of policemen guarding people who are hunting human beings. We have seen stupid South Africans who have not been to school before in their life and don't know their left from right. Illiterate baboons who are still living in 2026 as animals, hunting other human beings because in their head, somebody came to their country to take what belongs to them. But these same stupid, ignorant South Africans who drink their head off like raccoons see their own white people in South Africa and they are licking their butts like dogs. This is an issue that is not supposed to be treated with this kind of soft gloves. The government of the Republic of Ghana, the government of Ghana took the best decision. The interest they took is the interest of Ghanaians who live in South Africa. The government of Ghana is not like you people. It's not as stupid as the South African government that is not able to address issue to the core. The government of Ghana is not stupid to ignore SOS call from its citizens who at the end of the day are basically contributing economically to your selfish, lazy asses in South Africa. Julius Malema is just an actor. He's doing politics. He had two missions. The first one was to clean his country to the world, that it's not a country full of racist, black racists, ignorant black racists. And secondly, he wanted to look good in front of his political opponents. That is what Julius Malema was doing. The foolishness in the eyes of you South Africans, thinking that you know more than anybody, but you're the most daft people on this planet. Very lazy people, ignorant people who don't want to educate yourselves. What we have seen on social media, the kind of things we have witnessed, you this daft head who lead a group of ignorant fools in South Africa thinking you can go after black people while the same foolish white people in South Africa are treating you like dogs. You cannot convince me that what is happening in South Africa is not affecting other Africans. You have no moral right. You foolishly go to bed at night in your mansion, in your stupid, corrupt mansions, while people are being chased out of their homes. Foolish man. Your people stay in cages and call it sheds. They are lazy. They drink like mad people. They rape your women and are lazy to work. People come to your country to build your economy, and you think you can set your human dogs on the street to go after hard-working Africans who are living legitimately in your lazy country. Who the fuck do you people think you are? And who do you think you can deceive here? Shameless people. Foolish people who think that they can always be licking the butt of the white man but see their other Africans as enemies. You are stupid. Go back to your foolish parliament and address the white people there and stop inciting your ignorant black South Africans from going after our brothers and sisters in your country. How many of you work? I have lived in South Africa before. I have stayed in South Africa for almost 2 years. You are the most laziest people on this planet. You live like dogs. You drink, you have sex, and you walk around like dogs with guns. You have no knowledge. If you people don't want anybody to live with you people, we understand. But do not come and act on TV and pretend as if you care. You don't fucking care. Your little head like Inzulenzu. And you sit there and you talk trash because you think this is another drama. You think this is another joke. The government of the Republic of Ghana, they respect its citizens, whether in Ghana or out of Ghana. They will protect every Ghanaian who is being abused in Ghana or out of Ghana. They are not like you dogs who think that every human being should be drinking, having sex, and fooling around. This is Ghana. We are not South Africa. This is going on for over months. And you people have done nothing about it because behind the scenes, you support the barbaric, stupid actions of your people on the streets. And you expect Ghanaians to reciprocate this same nonsense you are doing? Do you think the African continent is made up of animals like your grandfathers and your grandmothers and your granddaughters who are walking on the street aimlessly like animals? You need to reason up. South Africa cannot develop alone. None of you guys can build South Africa. You people are too daft to understand. That is why the white people always treat you people like dogs, because you have failed to use your conscience to understand that now you will need people to help you liberate yourselves. When you people wanted power from the white man, you were walking around like dogs seeking the help of other Africans. Today, you make your shiny face like a rat living in KwaZulu-Natal, telling us nonsense. A stupid brat. You people need to talk to your people. If we all decide to go after your people around Africa, do you think any of your guys will live? The stupidity of a stupid South African. We know where you people are coming from. We know the help we gave you people while you were in the dark. We know how you were treated, how we came together to put money together to save you, your dirty asses. Today you go after other Africans and pretend you know nothing about it. You are a bunch of fools and you can never survive as black South Africans. I'm telling you, it's a fact. The white South African will always control you people because you were even told in the past that when you eat fish, your teeth will come out. That is how weak-minded some of you black South Africans are. The white man told you when you eat fish, your teeth will come out like pigs. So you refuse to eat fish till date. You eat meat like dogs. You need to reason and understand that we are talking about human lives. We are talking about people's fundamental rights. What you don't want South Africans to go through in other countries, don't ever wish it for anybody in that your country. The stupidity of these South Africans, they want to pretend and act as if we are all stupid. If you decide to retaliate, do you think your people will survive? Because you are lazy, you don't travel. Because you are lazy, you don't want to learn. Because you are lazy, you don't want to open your horizon to understand how the world works. Most of you are foolish. I have lived among you people.